Hi, good morning, guys. We are getting a better idea of what the future White House will look like as President-elect Trump wraps up his final picks for his second administration. Trump filling his team in near record time, appointing more than 40 key positions already, including the 18 cabinet spots. His picks are getting noticed for being, quote, diverse, including former Democrats Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Axios calling Trump's cabinet, quote, the most ideologically diverse cabinet of modern times. And some Democrats in the Senate say they're keeping an open mind. Listen.
I'm not going to create this. I'm going to have an open conversation. And there's some people that I just couldn't be able to vote for that. And there's some that might be able to enthusiastically vote yes.
Absolutely. What I would need to do is have a chance to sit down and talk with each one of these nominees and listen to them and hear what they have to say.
Bipartisan support, even if slim, could be key for several of Trump's picks during Senate confirmations. But after the GOP picked up a 53-seat majority this election, the pressure is on Senate Republicans to move quickly. Senator-elect Bernie Moreno of Ohio saying, quote, the American people delivered President Trump a mandate, and it is crucial that Senate Republicans confirm his nominees quickly. Our Republican majority must unite and deliver a strong cabinet so we can begin implementing the America First agenda as soon as possible. Major cabinet rejections are rare, and the last one came in 1989 with former President George H.W. Bush's nominee for Defense Secretary John Tower. Guys.
All right. Those that want people to believe that you want retribution, that you will use the system of justice to go after your political enemies.
Maybe smash a few things along the way.
Trump actually works really well as Captain America. The guy who plays Captain America, that guy's woke and an embarrassment, and all of the Avengers, I'll never forgive them for this. All of the Avengers got together to endorse Kamala Harris. Why would you commit suicide, brand suicide, by doing that? Why would you do it? Could you imagine? Why? In what universe is that like a bunch of adult pretenders, like effectively glorified theater kids, getting together and atomizing their careers to say like Kamala's who we need from their mansions on a Zoom call? It's such an embarrassing ad. We should load it up. It's such an embarrassing ad. I'm not sure we've ever even played it on the show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday, November 25th, 2024. Happy Thanksgiving week, although the Christmas season has already started around here. Trump's cabinet takes place as polls show the vast majority of Americans approve of the new MAGA administration that is being locked in record time. Come on, Kash Patel for FBI. Kash Patel for FBI. Come on, for the FBI. Will Elon Musk buy MSNBC? Oh, yeah, baby. These are already talking about shows. They're already talking about, I think, Joe Rogan cross-dressing to take over Rachel Maddow's show. It's an amazing moment that we are living in, and we're very, very excited about it. Congressman Wesley Hunt joins the program. Speaking of excitement and energy, Wesley Hunt always brings it on the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. We were traveling all weekend, and we want to tell you a little bit about it. But first, I want to tell you about what sits in my cup right here in my little icy mug. Ladies and gentlemen, it's chilly in Tampa, but if we just returned from Chicago, that's real cold. So I'm here for my iced coffee this morning. It's balmy here in comparison. Chicago, it was actually snowing. My kids actually saw snow for the first time and got down to try and eat the snow off the curb in downtown Chicago. And my wife and I just screamed, please, no. They don't know what snow is, right? They're little Florida kids, so they have no idea. They've never seen snow. It's such a novelty for them. Anyway, we were keeping up with the kids all weekend. It was a stacked schedule, and it's our blackout coffee that keeps us running. 0 days off, 100% zero grift in this sweet black coffee. Just pure caffeinated energy that keeps me going. There's nicotine pouches flying all over the office. Not for me, baby. I got my caffeine, and I got it from Blackout Coffee. It's just a great company. They're an American company. They're a Florida company made right here in the great state of Florida, and we are happy to be back. BlackoutCoffee.com/Benny, BlackoutCoffee.com/Benny, Blackout Coffee. Use the code Benny for 20% off your first order. Be awake, not woke. ladies and gentlemen. Promo code Benny. You can also find him on Public Square. Okay, let's begin. We were in Chicago this weekend. We told you we're going to Chicago this weekend. We went there for a charity event. The Trumps give hundreds of millions of dollars to charity, and nobody ever talks about it. So we thought we'd go cover that. We did, and we're working on a little documentary about it right now. So that's cooking here at Team Benny. But we went to Chicago for the St. Jude's Christmas donation event that they do there. We thought we'd highlight some of the incredible work around the holidays for great causes. Like there's no greater cause than the St. Jude's Hospital, children with cancer and other horrible illnesses that don't have the ability to cover their medical fees. And so the St. Jude's steps in and covers those fees and does so from a Christian worldview. And it's just awesome. The Trump family has donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charity. You never heard anything about that. No one's ever told you that story. No one's ever bothered. How much charity has Bernie Sanders done? Bernie Sanders is a Marxist, right? So you'd assume that he'd donate 100% of his salary. Or AOC, she's a Marxist, right? So you'd assume she'd donate all of her monies, all of her evil capitalist dollars to charity. But they don't, in fact. When you go through their taxes, these people, they're some of the stingiest penny pinchers, little goblins that you can possibly find. And so it's amazing how it's like actual capitalists who use their money for good. We'll get to Elon Musk buying MSNBC in a moment. Talk about using your money for good. But it's amazing how living out your values. So we were excited to live out our values at Trump Hotel in Chicago. We've been there before. Chicago's magical. If you're watching from Chicago or from Illinois, we met so many amazing patriots while there. The love in Chicago was incredible. Just walking around on the street, people were wearing MAGA hats. Yo, people were wearing MAGA hats in downtown Chicago. Now, this is what Jussie Smollett, who I guess was released, who I guess had his sentencing overturned by the Illinois Supreme Court on a technicality. Okay. Very bad. But anyway, the point is, this is what Jussie Smollett said was like a nightmare for him. Was like the worst thing that could ever happen to anyone was seeing a MAGA hat in Chicago. Dudes wearing MAGA hats in Chicago. And I saw them all weekend. All weekend, just randomly, dudes like wearing MAGA hats up and down downtown Chicago. Nothing stays blue forever. Nothing stays blue forever. Nothing stays like a Democrat superstructure forever. That city has seen much better days, and I think the people there are sick of what's going on. Anyway, here's what we did. We walked in, we saw our friends, we went to this great event. We'll publish the documentary on it. We're posting about social media. You got to see this clip though. This is what they set up our room with. This is how they set up my room when we check in. There's a hotel, right? Is a big skyscraper. There's a hotel, and you walk in, and they had a Christmas tree in the room, and a little like a fruit plate, right, and a bottle of Trump champagne, and Christmas tree up in the room, and my kids just went freaking crazy for it. It just ran headlong into the thing, a big chocolate Trump tower, and they were just going absolutely nuts. Got the bear. Give the bear to my son. We got to play the audio. We got to play the audio here. ALX, just load up the actual original clip. Why didn't we think of that? Just load up the actual original clip. I sent it in the chat. Go grab it in the chat. Sit right there in the short chat. Sorry, we put music, Home Alone music to this. So what happens there is it gets caught in copyright. So just grab it in the chat. It's sitting right there. There it is. This. Go, load it.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you what it's like staying in downtown Chicago.
This is without the Home Alone music.
Okay. At Christmas time.
So what I want you to see is my kids thanking Donald Trump for
and Trump champagne, of course.
Christmas dreams.
And we got the the chocolate Trump tower.
I got 3 kids, and my wife is
this little
8 months
thing.
pregnant.
Teddy bear.
With the St. Jude's on it.
And a Christmas tree. That is obviously going to be loved on for the next couple of days. Here you go, bud. Here you go. It comes with this awesome kitchen, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, that makes life much easier.
It's a great family.
An igloo. There's a wonderful flower. Got presents under the tree and everything. Can you say thank you, Donald Trump?
Thank you, Donald Trump.
There you go.
Hey, Mom, I just went.
All right, and then we got one more. Let's do one more.
What an amazing.
They were running around in this igloo.
Team
They
they
were
have
like
here at
rolling
Trump
around in the igloo.
Chicago. Thank you. Hey, who's this?
Me.
It's a bear. Can you say thank you, Donald Trump?
Thank you, Donald Trump.
All right, there we go. And my son tried to say it. Okay. It's a family show. It's a family show. I say that to say this. It's a family company. And you should say it Trump. You should live your values. You should say it Trump Properties. I don't have a partnership with them or anything like that. They're just an awesome family company. They treat you like family when you're there. It's an actual. They haven't sold out to Hilton or Marriott or anything. It's incredible. Every time we stay there, they're a family. They're like a family business. They'll know you by name. And like it's remarkable in a country of like pure corporatism and godless, lifeless, woke corporatism to actually have a true family business still operational. Now, I did tell you that, speaking of family businesses, I did tell you that we would be taking the official Benny ornament and placing it on the Trump tree. So, exclusive to our show, here is the footage of that actually happening. This is the official Donald Trump Christmas tree in downtown Chicago. You can get your Benny red Christmas ornaments live now, $5 per ornament. We make $0 in profit off them. I just want to give a gift to you. You can get it live now at the Benny store. Here it is, hanging on the official Trump Christmas tree. And here's the link. Here's the link to the Benny store. $5. I got to tell you, we have effectively sold out. And we've had to expand our production capacity on an emergency basis to get this done. I want every tree in America to have one of these. So please hop over to the Benny store. You can find it at bennyjohnson.com. You can find it linked here in the description on the live. Hop over to thebennyshow.com and get yourself the red Christmas, the official red Christmas Benny Show ornament hanging right now on the tree downtown Chicago, Trump Tower. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, back up. This is why we didn't have a show on Friday. Wanted to give you sort of a little update, how awesome this family is, how great the Trump the experience is here, and what positive energy we got going into the Christmas season, ladies and gentlemen. So let's look into some of the leading headlines of the day. The majority of America approve of Trump's transition. Now, this has been a very speedy transition process. You've had pretty much the entire administration announced in short order, and every one of those individuals is like a friend of the show. It's crazy. Here, going over that. Yeah, let's go through Trump tracking staff and nominations. You see so many people that have been regulars on our program here. Brooke Rollins was just announced as Agriculture Secretary. She was just on the program last week. Freaking awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're very, very excited about how this administration is shaping up. It's one of the most dynamic administrations. Something big happened on Friday. Matt Gaetz decided he was going to pivot out of his appointmentship for Attorney General after meetings with the Senate. This enrages us. I am a fan of Matt Gaetz. I wanted Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. We believe that it was important, but we believe that this position is not. It can't just be filled by Matt Gaetz. There are some positions like Doge that like it has to be Elon or the FBI. I really I'm such a firm believer in cash for FBI. But here's like Pam Bondi comes and stepped in. What was it, like 1 hour in between with the switcheroo ALX? It was like an hour, and Trump announces Pam Bondi. Now we freaking know Pam Bondi, love Pam Bondi. She's our neighbor here in Tampa. It's incredible. She's helped us out personally on the program. We love Pam Bondi. And so this was a position where what you needed was someone who's going to have the American people, more importantly, back in fighting the superstate, in fighting the political persecutions, in going after election fraud and real crimes and the crimes of the cartels all across the country. Pam knows this. She's such an advocate for parents, for rule of law. She was a Secretary of State in one of the largest, most dynamic states in the country. Forgive me, she's Attorney General here in the state of Florida. And again, she's a close personal friend of the show. We know her, we love her. We have this photo of her wearing a Trump Never Surrender shirt. Here, I present to you Pam Bondi. She's right there in the middle with a Donald Trump Never Surrender. This is at the RNC convention right after the assassination attempt of President Trump. This was hours after the assassination attempt of President Trump. Here's Pam Bondi wearing that shirt. This is the vibe that you need. Let me tell you something. Let me vouch safe. Pam Bondi is it. Pam Bondi is it. Pam Bondi is 100% confirmable. Matt Gaetz dropped out saying that he had, that he could see that there were distractions and complications to his nomination process. And this is what we learned, obviously, at Mar-a-Lago, and we've been talking about it. It makes me angry, and that this is the revenge. This is like the revenge of Mitch McConnell and his cuck rhino wing of the party. They would have never done this to Joe Biden. They approved, 0 Democrats voted against 21 of Joe Biden's nominees. Why is it always our party? I think there should absolutely be a radical and muscular attempt, and I will do everything in our show's power to unseat rhinos like Murkowski, Collins, and McConnell. And then the guy who's taking the place of Mitt Romney, the guy who's like the hand selected to take the place of Mitt Romney in Utah, that was apparently the list of people who tanked Matt Gaetz. That was allegedly the group of people who tanked Matt Gaetz. Yet some of those people had no problem voting for Merrick Garland, as we will bring up time and time again on the show when we primary them. I think McConnell is done for, right? I don't think he's going to run again. So McConnell will serve out his term, and he'll his final subservience to his actual true masters in China and the deep state will be to do everything he can to try and scuttle the first Trump administration. Also, not a great sign that John Thune didn't come out in support of Matt Gaetz. Not a great sign that John Thune hasn't come out and said, we will support the president in his appointment. Isn't that something that we warned you about? We've been warning about this. Nonetheless, jumping right in, Pam Bondi is going to be confirmed in a lightning round. She's incredible. She's a lover of this nation. She's been by President Trump's side fiercely. And the American people are going to love, if you don't know Pam Bondi yet, you're going to get to know her. The American people are going to love her. She's an absolute and total battle axe for freedom and a truly dynamic pick. We are 100% in support of it. And we also, quite frankly, didn't like the protracted distractions is something that we talked about on this program with Matt Gaetz. This was a massive Donald Trump FU pick that was going to clearly upset. When you've been in DC long enough, you piss off all the right people. I've pissed off all the right people in Washington DC. This show certainly does. We hear about it every single week. And we love being on the outside, but Matt Gaetz wanted to be on the inside of the inside. That's the problem, right? It's why Mike Davis regularly comes on this program and says, I'm not confirmable, right? I won't be able to be confirmed by the Senate because he lives in DC. He's pissed off all the right and wrong people. And so this is I approve. I bless it. I say this is good. When I saw this happen, I said, sucks because we love Matt, but we love Pam. We know we've worked so closely with Pam Bondi. She's just it. She's such a G. Okay. Anyway, so that's zooming out. Let's look holistically here. The majority of voters revealed that they approve of the way that President Donald Trump is handling his presidential transition, according to a recent poll. In a CBS News YouGov poll conducted between November 19th and 2022 of 2,200 Americans, 59% expressed approval of the way Trump is handling his presidential transition. 41% disapprove. Okay. This shows, obviously, the majority that I believe actually functions in this country. I believe that we have 60% of the country. By the end of Trump's second term, I believe that we'll have 80% of the country. I believe there will be no more Democrat Party left to run on. And I have, if you want a little extra pep in your step, a little extra shot of caffeine in your coffee or nicotine in your pouch, well, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. The map ain't good for Democrats. Get me that electoral map, Danny. It was in our productions. This morning. Give me that electoral map. This is the map of allocations. Here it is, right here. Killer Klein. I'm gonna give you the uplifting that you might need. Thank you, Danny. I'm gonna give you the uplifting that you might need to Mondays are always tough. Here you go. Here's your 2024 electoral map. All election counting is done. Finally. It only took 3 weeks, right? All electoral counting is done. Let me give you some uplifting here. Do you see the tally up there in New York? These are electoral votes, right? Each block represents electoral votes. 4 of those votes are moving to Florida. New York was already closer in a margin than Donald Trump was closer to beating Kamala Harris in New York than Kamala Harris was to beating Trump in Florida or Texas. Moving over to California. 5 of those seats are moving to Texas. That's just the easy way to allocate it. That's what's happening. Texas is picking up votes. California's losing votes. New York's losing votes. Florida's gaining votes. Illinois loses between 3 and 4 electoral votes. Illinois. With just the losses of those 3 alone, and this is, of course, due to criminal mismanagement and the destruction of what are beautiful states. There's so many nice things about New York. There's so many nice things about California. I was just in Illinois. Chicago is a great American city. They have been criminally mismanaged by communists. People have fled these states, and they're moving to states that have good Republican leadership, law and order. This is the way the founders designed it, to take power from low IQ, mentally incompetent Marxists and move them to people that actually manage their states correctly. The red kingdoms of Florida and Texas. The way that this map looks, next presidential election cycle, Republicans won't even need to win Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Don't tell that to Scott Presler. I also think we could win New Jersey. Scott Presler is going to try in Florida, Pennsylvania, meaning making Pennsylvania like a red state permanently. I can hear the amazing Ashley on our team screaming and cheering from Philadelphia, where she lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why there was so much desperation was because the map becomes almost unwinnable, and that's with the census numbers counting criminal aliens. There's a lot of talk about how the DOJ could go back and redo the census to take criminal aliens out. How there's a really good legal platform to say, actually, California should lose more like 20 seats, which is what would happen if you didn't count criminal aliens. That would make it impossible in our lifetimes for a Democrat to win the presidency ever again. You're damn near getting to the point where I don't want to, this is me. I want to give positive energy here. It's Monday, right? It's a holiday week. You're looking at a map where it's becoming more and more impossible, certainly with the 2028 election. But then looking on in the future, if you don't count criminal aliens, then you make it so that a Democrat really in the modern landscape of what the parties stand for and where the party strongholds are, a Democrat is approaching 0% chance of winning the Electoral College, which is freaking awesome. So there you go. As somebody who just left Illinois, I can tell you, criminal mismanagement, I've never seen anything like it. There's there's something called the Magnificent Mile in downtown Chicago, which is where all of the fine dining is and where all of the retail stores are. Okay, think like Times Square, kind of, right? Park Avenue in New York. And I've never seen so many stores boarded up. It's so sad, actually, the way that they've run Chicago into the ground. Nothing stays blue forever. So watch out, man. Watch out. And when you're bleeding electoral votes down to us in the dark red Sunbelt and South, then baby, it's looking like a red Christmas, maybe permanently. So really, really exciting moments. A lot to be very excited about. Freaking love the way that the direction of the country is going, and then we love these picks. So many of these picks we appreciate from Team Trump. I'm bitter about Matt Gaetz. We're fans of Matt Gaetz, but I have a feeling he's gonna get locked in. Who wants Matt Gaetz as like special counsel? He told Charlie Kirk last Friday he won't be returning to Congress. Okay, so then who wants Matt Gaetz as like, apparently you can appoint a special counsel without Senate confirmation. So put Matt Gaetz in charge of rooting out election fraud as a special counsel all around the country, prosecuting election fraud. Just put Matt Gaetz. Do you know how easy that could be? Boom. 1, 2, 3. Matt Gaetz is now a special counsel to indict all election fraudsters throughout the country. Full subpoena power. Let's give him $60 million. Let's give him an army of phalanx of lawyers. Go. Would that be awesome? Would that almost be better than Matt Gaetz being Attorney General? Yeah, I mean, maybe, actually. Yeah. Especially if Pam Bondi's in the chair. A lot to be thankful for, and a lot to have positive outlooks on as we enter into our Thanksgiving week here. Majority of Americans approve of Donald Trump. We are 60% of the country or more. And by the time we're done with it, we'll be 80% of the country, and the Democrat Party will have to be into the dustbin. It's going to be so exciting these next couple of years. Here we go. American approval.
Our latest CBS News poll shows that 59% of Americans approve of how President-elect Donald Trump is handling the presidential transition. Trump has kept up a steady drumbeat of staffing announcements from his Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida. And that is where we find our Nicole Killian this morning with the latest.
After Saturday lunch with one of the senators who will vote on his cabinet picks, President-elect Donald Trump announced former domestic policy advisor Brooke Rollins for Agriculture Secretary. One of his most highly anticipated selections was Scott Bessent for Treasury. If confirmed, the 62-year-old investor would be the first openly gay secretary to lead it and responsible for quarterbacking Mr. Trump's proposed policies on taxes and tariffs.
The most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff.
A new CBS News poll shows a majority of Americans support imposing tariffs on imported goods, and more have an optimistic view of the economy since the election. Mr. Trump selected a pair of doctors to lead health agencies. Former Congressman David Weldon has promoted debunked anti-vaccine views and is being tapped to lead the Centers for Disease Control. Food and Drug Administration pick Martin McCary critiqued vaccine mandates during the COVID pandemic. And Project 2025 architect Russ Vought plans to reprise his role as White House budget director.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is why we do the show live. Breaking news. Here we go. Please don't come for me in the chat over this. But we finally got our Elon Musk follow back. We're so thankful. Oh, what a way to start Thanksgiving. What a way to start Thanksgiving. We're so thankful. Finally got the Elon Musk follow back. And Elon was in the last news package, right? So Elon's sitting there in the last news package while we play it, as we play the show. Is Elon watching the show right now? Elon, shout yourself out in the chat. You can just do it. Elon is at Doge69420 in the chat. That's actually Elon's burner. Okay, at Doge69420. Here we go. There it is. Bingo. Elon Musk quoting the tweet and then following us back. Finally! Yes! The libs are coming after Elon because they're like, oh, Elon Musk, he's like secretly running the country. Yes. Good. Please. Yes. This is called you actually want geniuses running the country. You don't want slovenly, obese government parasites who've done zero in the private sector running the country. Yes, I would like the world's first trillionaire, which Elon Musk will be by the end of by the end of this decade. Elon Musk will be the world's first trillionaire. Yes, I do literally want the world's first trillionaire running our economy. That will be good for all of us. Yes, that we do want geniuses running our government. A couple of high IQ people running this place would be a welcome change, as Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are doing at Doge. Why is that an own? I don't get. Hold on. Can somebody explain that to me? How is that an own? Oh, Republicans just want really smart, successful people to run everything who have high IQs. Got me? Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yes, correct. That's what I would like. I mean, think about it in terms of going out to dinner. You go get sushi. Do you want like an extremely accomplished Michelin star Japanese chef cutting up the meat? The raw fish that could poison you if he cuts it wrong? Or do you want, what do we currently have running the government? Like community college, lesbian dance theory, drug medicated addicts out of their minds, professional bureaucrats. Like, do you want the people who are exceptional at their job doing it, or the people who suck cutting up your sushi? Like, think about it in terms of how you manage your own personal finances. Do you want your banker to be a degenerate who can't be fired? Or do you want your banker to be somebody who's like extremely accomplished in the financial markets and has made enormous amounts of wealth for himself and everyone around him? And then for you, like what about your own personal finances? Everyone banks, right? Everyone uses a bank. It's so obvious if you look at it from a household level. So why not expand that to a country level? This is what we're offering to the American people as a movement. Meritocracy is what it's called. Here's actually a great photo that I took this weekend. I actually went to a Michelin star restaurant this weekend in Chicago. This is what it looked like as we were getting our sushi. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Wow, I want to eat at this place. I'm gonna leave a good tip. I'll leave a good tip. I'll tip in Dogecoin for this restaurant." This is what I couldn't believe when I looked in to the kitchen. I said, "Goodness." I took a little photo, right? And here's the photo I took. Really special. This is actually how Donald Trump remembers Shinzo Abe. This is Trump's way of remembering, okay? His best friend who watches the skies as Trump watches the road. Okay, ladies. All right, enough silliness. Okay. We're just so excited about the Elon follow. Finally! Yes! And we want to apologize about being such huge backers of Elon Musk. Someday I'll get to ALX's level. Someday we'll get to ALX's level, where I think 90% of everything ALX tweets is responded to by Elon. We'll get there. We're working on it. Ladies and gentlemen, follow ALX just as the perpetual and perennial shout out. ALX went viral this weekend, by the way. ALX, you have that clip loaded? I hope you have it loaded in the MSNBC section. We'll get there. Okay, we're going to move through this block, though, about Trump approval. ALX went viral this weekend. You're going to love it. Here we go. Americans approve of the Donald Trump picks for his administration. Again, the 60-40 mark. We love it. We've been telling you we're the majority. We've been showing you in our Christmas ornaments we're the majority. Available for $5 at the Benny store. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the majority look like. 60-40. 60% of the country's on our side. That is a dominant majority in the nation. Here we go.
Our polling also finds many of the president-elect's well-known designees have more support than opposition, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth, roll through, bro. Roll through, brother. Now there's something that we need to get to. We're going to talk about cash, all right? Okay? You can't take on the machine unless you have the cash, okay? Fighting wars are expensive. You gotta have the cash. That's the next one. We got to get over the line, baby. That's the next one. We're going to throw it all down on the field for. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody who joined our show last week, Byron Donald, saying, this is a mandate. The American people voted for it. They're going to get it. Wow, it's incredible. A Republican Party that actually freaking listens to us. Here we go.
How soon do you think President Trump can have his nominees in place so that his team is ready to go January 20th?
Oh, look, I don't want to speak for the Senate's calendar, but there's no reason all this should not be done by the end of February, early March. The president has a political mandate. He overwhelmingly won this election. He swept the battleground states. He shifted every state in the country, except for Washington, more to the right. He has a mandate. Republican senators know this. I know Senator Thune, as well as all of my colleagues across the aisle, are well aware. And if you look at these cabinet choices, they have one mission in mind, and that is to enact the agenda of Donald J. Trump that the American people voted for overwhelmingly.
So awesome. And Byron Donald saying that Trump shifted every state in the country. Surely Trump didn't shift every state in the country to Trump. Surely you're not part of, you, me, we together are not part of like a full, total country takeover, right? There's still some blue dots. Still some blue dots in there, all right? Still a couple blue dots, right? Wrong. Check this out. Raw vote shift from 2020 to 2024. California, 2 million more votes for Trump in time span of 4 years. 2 million more. Makes you wonder, like, what about without the fraud? By the way, California, isn't that where Camilla is from? What the hell happened to Camilla? Where'd she even go? Haven't even seen her. Can we get proof of life? Like what? Where is Camilla? Apparently she went to Hawaii. Go climb go coconut tree? How's the story go? You fall out of a coconut tree? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Camilla Harris is from California. California swung the most to Trump of any state in the country by raw vote numbers. 2 million people voted for Trump, more than in 2020. But let's go down the list. New York, 1 million more people in New York voted for Trump. In Florida, we're in the Millie Club. Texas, that's a Millie right there. New Jersey, 500,000 more people in Jersey. Jersey, you watching from Jersey right now? Shout yourself out. 500,000 people more in New Jersey vote for Trump. Illinois, 400,000 more people voted for Trump in Illinois. I'm telling you, Chicago, there are entire neighborhoods of Chicago that went red. Nothing stays blue forever. Nothing stays blue forever. You hear me? Here's Alexa's state, Massachusetts. Almost 400,000 more Trump votes. Alex is always going on and on and on about how Massachusetts is like the entire state itself is red. And like there's Trump signs everywhere. It's just Boston that messes the state up. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Arizona, hundreds of thousands of more. Let's go down the list, Killer Klein. Look at that, all the way down to the bottom. Every single state had a move toward Trump in the thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions. That is a dominant mandate. That's what Byron Donalds is talking about there in the clip. This is a dominant mandate. Just incredible. Wyoming, 3,000. There's only 3,000 people in Wyoming. So it's really, that's very special. It's a very special number. So Libs down bad. This is, nothing stays blue forever. This is why Scott Pressler has said, I'm going to focus on New Jersey. I'm going to do what I did in Pennsylvania to New Jersey. Man, Libs should be really scared. And now with our show made international news last week with Byron Donald saying that mandatory voter ID, federal voter ID, is one of the first agendas of Congress, like sort of let the cat out of the bag there. Ooh, baby. How is it even, how will even these little blue dots like survive mandatory voter ID? They won't. Ron Johnson, one of our friends from Wisconsin, saying, here's where Trump stands in confirmations.
Spoken to some of your colleagues on the Republican side. Do you believe President Trump will see confirmations for his nominees?
Well, first of all, I'm doing pretty much the unofficial whip count for RFK Jr. because I've known him well. Now, listen, I believe Republican senators certainly understand the overwhelming victory, the solid victory of President Trump, and basically that President Trump as a result, earned a mandate. He has earned the right to be able to select people that will help him govern and carry out his agenda. And the agenda is primarily, from my standpoint, one that's going to focus on the working men and women of this country that build America, that we're going to have to rely on to repair the damage done by 4 years of destructive Democrat governance and literally make America great again. So I think Republican senators get that. That they have that respect for that. And my guess is if you know any nominee that gets through the committee process, and I think most of them will, if not all of them, they should have clear sailing for confirmation. We only need 50 plus J.D. Vance, so we can have a few defections. But I'm pretty confident that President Trump will be able to staff his administration with the people that are going to fight for his agenda. That's extremely important. I think if you take a look at that, I hope, by the way, Mark Cuban issues an apology for based on all the strong women that President Trump has now appointed. But, I truly do believe that what you see in these selections are people who are willing to fight. They're not going to wilt in the face of criticism. They're going to carry out his agenda.
Hell yeah. What about carrying out an insurrection? Which is what Libs are planning on. Isn't it amazing how it all turns around? Oh, yes. The insurrection is here. So here's how Libs are planning on insurrecting. Okay? Get a load of this. Unlike you and me, who love America and Americans and have we have our families here, our children, our moms and dads, our like we were born here, right? Or if you legally immigrated, then welcome. God bless you. It's like we everyone has some point in their family where they legally immigrated to this country. Like that's all we ask for, is for it to be done legally. All right? Unlike us, who are doing everything we can to help actual Americans and not Ukrainians or Israelis or the entire Taliban and ISIS who've crossed through our southern borders right now. Like, we actually focus on America first, and that is the most popular thing that you can do in this country right now. The most popular thing you can be is America first in this nation. Go ask a far left protest, or go ask a MAGA rally what they want, and they actually want the same thing. They want money to be spent here in this country, fixing our potholes, fixing broken systems. Like, that is actually the greatest unifying moment, arguably, in American history, is putting America first. Talk about not reading the room, dude. There are these mayors and governors, like the mayor of Denver and the governor of Illinois, to name a few. I think the governor of Massachusetts as well, who said that they will break the law and fight federal authorities who come into their cities to remove criminal aliens. Now, you probably remember that in Denver, they're having an onslaught. In Colorado, they're having an onslaught of Tren de Aragua, Venezuelan prison gangs, taking over entire apartment buildings, entire sections of the city. Denver, we have staff members who are from Denver. Denver is a vapor of itself. It is in absolute collapse. It is dangerous there. It is scary. There's the gang activity. There's homeless and drugs encampments everywhere. It's filthy. It's one of the greatest crown jewels of America. It's such a beautiful city. It's nothing like when I would go there as a child. It's so awful what this ideology has done to our great American cities. It's criminal. And now the leaders of these cities are saying that they're going to fight the feds and get imprisoned. Democrat Denver mayor vows mass resistance, police blockades against migrant mandate. So they're going to stage their own insurrection. Definitionally, this is an insurrection. Because definitionally, what an insurrection is a armed rebellion. So he's going to use police, he's going to use guns, an armed rebellion against a legitimate governing force. Here's your insurrection. It's amazing. It just took one election cycle for them to become the insurrectionists. Rand Paul saying the exact same thing. Here we go.
say that the mayor of Denver, if he's going to resist federal law, which there's a long-standing history of the supremacy of federal law, if he's going to resist that, it will go all the way to the Supreme Court. And I would suspect that he would be removed from office. I don't know whether or not there'd be a criminal prosecution for someone resisting federal law, but he will lose. And people need to realize that what he is offering is a form of insurrection where the states resist the federal government. Most people objected to that and rejected that long ago. So I think the mayor of Denver is on the wrong side of history and really, I think, will face legal ramifications if he doesn't obey the federal law.
Yeah, baby. Oh, yes. Who would be some of the people enforcing those federal laws? This is why we are such huge fans of Pam Bondi. Okay, so here we go. Pam Bondi, let's get started. We already told you that we support or endorse her and have worked with her on legal issues before. It's not overstating it. She's our neighbor. She's our neighbor. She's from Florida, and we know her and we love Pam Bondi. But zooming out from the personal connection, from a geopolitical standpoint, Pam Bondi has been like the teeth of President Trump and his policies. Before she's served as Trump's personal attorney. She's served on major legal matters for President Trump. And she is exactly the kind of person that is going to, well, imprison true insurrectionists like the mayor of Denver, who's going to defend, instead of defending Americans, instead of being concerned about the Americans who are being slaughtered in the streets or terrorized by criminal Venezuelan gangs, they're going to protect the gang members to go kill the Americans. Their people are sick. They're sick. I want them to keep doing it, though. Keep on with this. Keep doing it. Show America who you actually are. Show that you would prioritize third world villains, rapists, and murderers over American citizens. There's a headline. Man, ALX, where was it? MSNBC? Laken Riley's murderer never stood a chance, right? There's a headline this weekend. It shows you everything that these people stand for. Laken Riley's, her murderer never stood a chance. There it is. Killer Klein's got it. Man, Killer Klein getting quick. About as quick as he is on a jiu-jitsu mat. There it is. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan saying, "What the F is this? What the F is this?" Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. This guy was found guilty. He should have gotten the electric chair or a lethal injection. That's what righteously should have happened immediately. It should have been an immediate execution. Unfortunately, there was a woke district attorney that didn't go for the charges, that didn't accelerate the sentencing to include execution, which is legal in Georgia. That's what should have happened for this absolute monster. These are the people that left-wing governors like J.B. Pritzker in Illinois and the guy gives me big-time Justin Trudeau vibes. The mayor of Denver. I don't know his name. But the mayor of Denver, though, like the guy, this is what he's protecting. He's doing exactly what this MSNBC article is saying. Wow. Mike Johnson. He's the real victim. It's the murderer of Laken Riley, who raped and murdered Laken Riley in cold blood. He's the victim. See what a sick, it's demonic, actually. It's a spiritual war. It's demonic ideology. It's so sick. It's so despicable. And now they're coming out and saying it. They'll fight for Laken Riley's murder. They'll stand there with the police. They'll get all the cops in all of Denver. They'll use taxpayer dollars to defend Ibarra, which is this guy's name. They'll use physical force to protect him, so he can continue to kill and murder and rape Americans. Do you understand, like, the spiritual war that we're fighting? This is going to be him. This is what they're going to do. Left-wing governors are going to unite in order to protect the criminal alien murderers, and they'll use your tax dollars to do it. You see what a sick ideology that is? This is why I'm saying they won't be able to win in one presidential cycle. They won't be able to get to 20%. In one presidential cycle, it will be impossible once the American public fully see the priorities of this party, which is the singular destruction is the singular priority is the destruction of every Native American. Okay? To make your lives intolerable, unsafe, unaffordable, and to prioritize the criminals that are terrorizing you. Once the American public fully sees this and understands that Democrats are willing to stage an insurrection in order to protect Laken Riley's murderer with taxpayer dollars, it'll never be the same. The party will atomize. I think that they should never be able to recover anyway after all this. But once that happens, they'll never recover. It's done. It's done. This is why you need Pam Bondi. You need somebody with an iron spine. She seems very sweet, okay? And she is a very sweet person. You need somebody with an iron spine that can actually defend and go after the criminal aliens who are terrorizing this country and prioritize Americans first. Here's Pam Bondi.
These criminals made one very big mistake. They wound up in Polk County. And I'll tell you, it's bad enough in one thing to profit from poisoning others, but it's another when you bring drugs from Mexico into our country, California, Texas, Georgia, and end up in our state and do it with impunity. Because when you're in this country illegally and you're doing things illegally, I want to tell you, and you wind up in Polk County, Grady Judd is going to find you. The DEA is going to help them, and my statewide prosecutors are going to lock you up for as long as we can.
And we're going to enjoy it.
And each of these defendants are looking at 30 years in Florida State Prison for conspiracy to traffic drugs.
Oh, that sheriff is an absolute G. His name's Grady Judd. We know why hasn't he ever been on the show? We should book him. I mean, we should book him. We often talk about sort of the geopolitics of what's going on. Like we kind of sort of zoom out and look nationally. Let's book Grady Judd. He's just from a county over, from Polk County. Get Grady Judd booked on the show. We'll talk with him about Pam Bondi, working with Pam Bondi. That guy's a legend, okay? Every viral clip. That dude loves locking up criminals. Loves it. Such badasses. Pam Bondi, total badass. And we're going to enjoy it. Pam Bondi, you made a mistake. You came to Florida. Bitch. You brought drugs from Mexico to Florida. Ooh, you gone done it. Isn't that going to be great to have her as Attorney General? Oh, man. And then the sheriff behind her. And we going to enjoy it. Can you see Tom Homan? Tom Homan's going to do the same thing. Dude, Pam Bondi is it. Pam Bondi, by the way, talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, yeah. I love that we found this clip. Pam Bondi's done no media, obviously. She's going through a very heavy vetting process. We reached out to her. She's in great spirits. But you got to buckle up, right? This is the most important position in the new administration. So we're going to be offering as much air cover as we possibly can. But we went through and we want to show you who Pam Bondi is. Here's Pam Bondi, something we care a great deal about because, well, I have young children. I don't want them preyed upon by a monster. Why is our federal government protecting the foremost pederast that ever lived? Why is our federal government protecting Diddy and Epstein? Why exactly are our taxpayer dollars being used to keep the clients of Diddy and Epstein out of sight? Why can't we see them? Why can't we destroy their careers? If there's anyone who deserves to be canceled, it's the pederasts, right? Here's Pam Bondi saying exactly that.
I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
You know, Mark.
She just said the Voldemort of this entire case. You know, the Voldemort of the entire case is Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the madame who's alive. So unfortunately, a corpse, if you believe that Jeffrey Epstein is actually dead. Some very interesting theories on that. But if you believe that Jeffrey Epstein is actually dead, then there's a corpse, dead men tell no tales, the old pirate, pirate song. But it's true. Ghislaine Maxwell is alive. Well, Pam Bondi's like, wait a second, why are we letting Ghislaine Maxwell live out her days in some white-collar retirement home when we should actually be using her to testify against the people who they were bringing to the island? Wouldn't that be incredible to get from an attorney general? Wouldn't that be something? Somebody who actually fights and is able to expose these people. You know the exact reason why. Because every one of the clients was a Democrat superdonor and Democrat politicians. You know exactly why. Because the super state is set up to protect people like Bill Clinton. And if someone like Bill Clinton is exposed for who he actually is, the monster, the predator he actually is, he's done a pretty good job of exposing himself, literally. But if you knew the truth about Bill Clinton, then the entire American political superstructure collapses. Because then you start asking questions about Bush and Obama. And you're not going to like those answers either. That's why Epstein has to be protected. Matt Gaetz was on our program saying that, Matt Gaetz was on our show a month ago saying that it was a foreign country that killed Jeffrey Epstein. A foreign nation was allowed to go kill Epstein in a federal penitentiary. What? How dark, how deep does the rabbit hole go, man? Holy smokes. So, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of rabbit holes, nobody's heard from Mark Cuban. Here's Pam Bondi talking some smack to Mark Cuban, who says, and this is on the campaign trail, this year, this is the eve of the election. Here's Pam Bondi campaigning for President Trump, giving a message to Mark Cuban, who said that there's no such thing as an intelligent woman around Donald Trump.
Well, I was a prosecutor. I was a homicide prosecutor for 18 years. I was Florida's first female attorney general, and I was special advisor to Donald Trump, Office of White House Counsel, but most importantly, I'm his friend. And I was in that White House, and we all know he surrounded himself with a lot of brilliant women. How many women here tonight support Donald Trump? And backstage, look at these beautiful women sitting behind me. Sorry, guys, in the front row. Donald Trump, that was the greatest gift Mark Cuban could give Donald Trump, I think, by saying something so ignorant and stupid. So I have a message for Mark Cuban from all of us here tonight. Underestimate us. This is going to be fun.
So this is going to be the top law enforcement official saying that she's going to go after Mark Cuban. You wonder why so many celebrities are leaving the country. Oh, wow. Hey, Mark Cuban, don't you dare underestimate us. You know, you're a pretty rich guy. Be very interesting to ask a couple questions about Mark Cuban. And all the celebrities that have some pretty shady backgrounds. We've been covering this, like Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres, who called P. Diddy Cuddle McSnuggle stuff? Was that it? Okay, am I remembering this correctly? Yeah, amazing how the people at the top of the Diddy list, how they are the first to flee the country. As Pam Bondi says, she's going to be really seriously looking into the Epstein lists. Funny that, how that works. It's the people on those lists who have fled America forever. This is what Ellen says. I'm gone forever. Oh, wow. Well, kind of like a criminal at a crime scene, right? Like if you're innocent, why are you running? Doesn't make any sense. Now, they tried to lock up Donald Trump because of this. They used everything in their toolbox to lock up Donald Trump, and at his side was Pam Bondi. Every step of the way. Here's Pam Bondi outside of the courthouse in New York defending President Trump.
Prior to being Attorney General of Florida, I was a career prosecutor for 18 years. I prosecuted hundreds of jury trials in a courtroom very similar to the one today. Yet I've never seen anything like this. A judge is supposed to be a neutral arbiter of facts. First of all, this case was declined by many years from the Southern District of New York, by the Department of Justice, by multiple jurisdictions. Yet they bring it on the heels of a presidential election.
Yeah. She's calling it out. This is as strong of a comment as Matt Gaetz has ever made about political prosecutions as well. She's perfect for this position. I'm telling you, she's perfect for this position. I'm bitter about what happened with Gaetz, but Pam Bondi, man, I'm telling you, like, Matt Gaetz wasn't the only person that could fill that role. Pam Bondi is excellent. Something that we forgot about last Pam Bondi hype clip. Something that we forgot about. Pam Bondi was one of President Trump's attorneys defending him against the malicious impeachment scams. You got to know, Pam Bondi's an OG. She comes across as very sweet. She obviously she's like someone who is. She doesn't look like a pit bull, right? You know what I mean? Like she doesn't. But she's got that dog in her, you know? She's got that fight, and she brought up Burisma and the corrupt Bidens on the floor of the Senate when they were trying to put Trump in prison, when they were trying to impeach Trump and then create the charges to put him in jail. Pam Bondi went to the well of the Senate and dropped bombs. Here we go.
Ambassador Yovanovitch was confirmed July 2016 as the Obama administration was coming to a close. In September 2016, a Ukrainian court cancels the oligarch Zlochevsky's arrest warrant for lack of progress in the case. In mid-January 2017, Burisma announces that all legal proceedings against it and Zlochevsky have been closed. Both of these things happened while Hunter Biden sat on the board of Burisma. Around this time, Vice President Biden leaves office. Years later now, former Vice President Biden publicly details what we know happened, his threat to withhold more than $1 billion in loan guarantees unless Shokin was fired. Here's the Vice President.
I said, I'm not going to.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she had the guts to go. And you've seen the Biden clip. She had obviously the impeachment failed. She had the guts to go and stand for President Trump in front of the courthouse in New York against impeachment, sham impeachments, defending Donald Trump with border and mass migrations, and also, ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, defending our children against some of the biggest predator monsters in the world. Like, there isn't actually a more unifying thing that you can be. Pam Bondi is it, baby. She's the right person for this job. Who's next? FBI director. Ooh, man. Okay, so Christopher Wray, not gonna stick around. Christopher Wray is behind so much of the sickness. He raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago. He attacked church members, used the FBI to attack Orthodox Catholics, people who are praying, in front of abortion centers. Like the FBI has been used, and how the FBI has been used as a weapon is despicable. We must have a FBI director that is not wholly and totally owned by the deep state. The FBI director works with Maine Justice, where Pam Bondi will be. She must have an ally, because the FBI is the muscle of the Justice Department. When the Justice Department wants to get something done, go raid Mar-a-Lago. I mean, it's not DOJ lawyers who raid Mar-a-Lago. They use the FBI as a paramilitary force to raid Mar-a-Lago with a kill order. It's sick. I'm certainly not arguing that should happen. I'm just saying the FBI is the beat stick that is used by the Department of Justice. You must, in order to have full reformation of this system, you must have someone at the top of the FBI who is not going to be a subservient cuck to the superstate and the machine. That's Kash Patel, ladies and gentlemen. You can't fight a war without the cash. Here's Kash Patel this weekend on Maria Bartiromo's show explaining
You've been a student of all of this for many, many years, with all of your roles, including the chief of staff of the Department of Defense. So I want to get your take on what former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe said about you. He targeted you specifically, saying that you would be dangerous. No part of the FBI's mission is safe with Kash Patel in any position of leadership in the FBI, and certainly not in the Deputy Director's job. From Andrew McCabe. Your reaction?
Well, look, my 16 plus years in government service as a public defender, as a national security prosecutor, as a civilian in Joint Special Operations Command, leading President Trump's counterterrorism missions, taking out Baghdadi, returning hostages, serving as his deputy director of national intelligence, and lastly, as chief of staff. The only thing I was beholden to was the United States Constitution. And yes, I was a lead investigator where he exposed the Russiagate crimes that Comey, McCabe, Strzok, and Page, and so many others committed. And we reported to Congress those oversight matters, and those were taken up through them in the right course to the American people. So if anyone has a complaint about that and questions my unwavering commitment to the Constitution, I'm happy to talk to them about it. I'm especially happy to talk to the media about it. But you can look at my record, and those calling me a danger, let's just ask them for a proof, a piece of evidence that actually shows I've committed any constitutional violations or any ethical quandaries, and I'd love to hear their response to this.
Yeah.
So where did Peter McCabe say that? Disgraced McCabe. Where did he say it? On MSNBC. Where do these guys go? Like, where do these deep state goblins go in order to get hurt? You know, they don't have any following. Where do they go to continue to lie to the American people in order to create the illusion of control or majority? They go to MSNBC. MSNBC is a totally owned, completely operational organ of the superstate. I've seen it up close. I've witnessed it myself. I've watched how the producers that work there, I mean, I lived in Washington, D.C. for 15 years. I've watched how the producers literally huddle with Democrats and huddle with intel agency representatives to corroborate and create narratives. You can watch it happen in real time. MSNBC, CNN is guilty of this, of course, as well, along with the 3 broadcast networks, which I think is really something very valuable. Hey, Alex, I'm not sure. I don't see it in the script. Can you please grab Brendan Carr's tweet this week? Brendan Carr, who's going to be the new chairman of the FCC, talking about the broadcast licenses. Whew, man. You want to save this country? Here's a great way to do it. Strip the broadcast licenses from ABC, CBS, and NBC. You know, we pay them, we allow them effectively, we give them billions of dollars a year in free broadcast licenses to broadcast into every terrestrial television and on the airwaves. Now, in the way that the system's set up is you must be broadcasting in the public interest. You can't just broadcast, you pop it up. You can't just broadcast propaganda. So here's the incoming FCC director saying broadcast licenses are not sacred cows. Media companies required by law to operate in the public interest. If they don't, they're going to be held accountable. The Communication Act requires that we don't pay for the destruction of our nation. We shouldn't give a penny to NPR. We shouldn't give a penny to PBS. We should defund both of those immediately. And then we should strip the licenses away. Start with ABC, who I think is like, start with ABC, who someone will have to convince me that they didn't give Kamala Harris the questions in advance, or at the very least, like, insulate Kamala Harris with topics before the debate. Did you get that? And then also we have from their own anchors, Lindsey Davis, saying that they had no plan to fact check Kamala Harris during the debates. That we have verified. They had a fact check ready in the pocket. They had a pocket fact check for every single thing that Trump said. They fact checked Trump one time on a joke. Trump had it made a sarcastic joke, and David Muir during the debate, I've lost my mind on this. Man, my blood pressure went through the roof. David Muir fact-checked his joke. Do you remember that? We don't need to play the clip, but like it's despicable. Oh, well, that's not what I believe, David Muir said. Strip their license. That's not in the public interest. Take their license away. If you weren't ready if you weren't ready to fact-check every single thing that Kamala Harris said versus Donald Trump, then you are not acting in the public interest. Why are we paying for that? Now we finally have an FCC director with the guts and the balls in his shorts to say it. Oh, it's going to be delicious. Now, that's for the public facing. What about private? Well, in private, MSNBC's ratings have craters. They have collapsed beyond, I think, the capacity to even run a profitable company anymore. Rachel Maddow is having to take $5 million pay cut. They're having to like slash programming across the board. And now their parent company, Comcast, is going to spin them off for sale. Well, that creates an interesting opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when Elon Musk, way back in the day, do you know Elon Musk just followed us on? Yes! We're still so excited about that. There was a time way back in the day when Elon Musk, this is 2017, okay? Elon Musk was asked to buy X. Back then it was Twitter. And he said, how much does it cost? Back in the day, when Elon Musk asked how much something cost, know that the wheels have turned. That dude went ahead and spent $44 billion, bought X, and I think saved Western civilization, or was a massive part in saving Western civilization. Well, lo and behold, Elon Musk this weekend said, how much does it cost to this post from Don Jr. Don Jr. saying, hey, Elon Musk, I have the funniest idea ever. Why don't we buy MSNBC together? Comcast is spinning off MSNBC. Elon Musk asking, wait a second, why not? Why not? I mean, this would absolutely be in the service of perpetuating the great American century, perpetuating our ideology and worldview, reporting real news, like America first. Unlike MSNBC, it wouldn't need to be a propaganda network. But hot damn, are the propaganda networks losing their mind over this? Here's how CNN covered it.
Solves this, ends the argument about how important these social media platforms are. Over the weekend, for example, Musk is joking, I think, about maybe trying to buy MSNBC. It seems he's just trying to troll. Comcast is not making MSNBC up for sale right now. Maybe something will change in a few years. But those tweets, those posts from Musk, those memes that he's posting, it just speaks to his power and his center of power throughout this incoming administration.
But elaborate on that potential joke. He used some of the same phrasing that he used a few years ago when he ended up actually buying Twitter, when he said, how much is it? Just fairly casually. Yes. I mean, it would seem that, yes, there is a fair amount of trolling going on right now, but at the same time, Comcast is cleaving off a part of the business that could potentially be an affordable acquisition. Do you think that there's any possibility that it's more than a joke?
Well, some inside MSNBC are taking Musk's comments seriously, whether he's trolling or not. There is a serious undercurrent to this, and it is the following. In some countries where we've seen democratic backsliding, where some oppositional media outlets have been captured by the government, a process known as media capture, this is exactly what happens. A ally of the leader, like Musk, comes in and buys a media outlet that is viewed as oppositional, and then he turns the content and makes it more friendly to the person in power. That has happened before in other countries. That's part of the concern when, even if Elon Musk is just joking, that's part of the concern here when it comes to MSNBC. But at the moment, this spinoff that Comcast is doing will take at least a year to complete. There's no immediate sale or any of that, I'm told, that is planned. But the idea that Musk talks about it, he likes to say the most ironic outcome is the most likely. And in this case, it would be pretty ironic if he controlled MSNBC.
Yeah, we still have more than a year of tea leaf reading to do. Brian, we appreciate you helping us do it.
Oh, I'm watching it. It's just freaking delicious. Just put more salt in my coffee. Just do it. Just put it in. I can't. You're going to get so sick of winning. You're going to say, Mr. President, we can't take it anymore. We can't take this much winning. And I'm going to say, no, we have to win more. Here's Joe Rogan winning more. Joe Rogan saying, I would love to be on MSNBC. If Elon Musk buys MSNBC, and by the way, this is what's the right way to say this? Maybe Alex Danny, fact check me here. Joe Rogan has more viewers than the entire MSNBC lineup combined. Joe Rogan's podcast with Donald Trump was viewed by 100 million plus people. The top show on MSNBC gets like 1 million viewers. The top show. So Joe Rogan, by orders of magnitude, is a larger media platform than all of MSNBC. And here's Joe Rogan saying, if you buy MSNBC, I would like Rachel Maddow's job. I will wear the same outfit and glasses, and I will tell the same lies. I think we actually have. Do we have an AI? I think there's actually a photo of that. How amazing would that be? Says Elon Musk, a man who could buy MSNBC at its asking price for probably a rounding error in his taxes. The world's first trillionaire. Libs down bad, man. Elon Musk sharing, by the way, as he often does, sharing memes to hurt their feelings. Here's Elon Musk sharing memes all weekend about how glorious it would be if he bought MSNBC. Elon Musk trying not to buy MSNBC. Lord, help us resist temptation. Here we go next. Trade offer. I receive Infowars. You receive MSNBC. Okay, next. This would be the new show. I would totally watch this show. This would have the highest ratings if you replaced The View. The View's on ABC, but still, this would have the highest rate. So just put this programming up against The View, it would do 10x the ratings. If you just had that table, just talking shit, and just live, no script, just have these guys just have these guys chewing it, and have McDonald's sponsor the show. People calling it MXNBC. You just replace the S with the X. Here's what Joe Rogan's show looks like. Okay, maybe maybe don't need the plunging neckline, but yes, here's Joe Rogan as Rachel Maddow. Oh, they're angry. Now they're very angry at our boy ALX. Now ALX, who's the executive producer of this show, is very, very good on X, as you know. You must follow him. He put together a meme. He created this meme of Rachel Maddow. It's a funny meme. The entire internet thought it was real, and it went thermonuclear viral. I'm not sure what the total numbers are on it, but it must be millions and millions. There's 2.4 million views just on this post alone, but it was everywhere in my timeline. Here's ALX trolling the entire internet. No doubt Rachel Maddow saw this. Glorious. Let's go.
Oh, hold on. To at least 3. Can we put up the graphic of this? I think I'm going to have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry. That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Okay. Am I getting this wrong, Alex? This is a clip from 2018. They were talking about the migrant. They were talking about criminal aliens, right? They were once again crying. They're literally crying over criminal aliens coming in the country. To follow the trend line of the show, they're laying down the streets, crying, using law enforcement, sobbing. You've never seen Rachel Maddow teary-eyed, misty-eyed, talking about Laken Riley, have you? Have you ever seen Rachel Maddow break down in tears when an American is slaughtered by a criminal alien? No, of course not. No. This is why we call it demonic. This is why we say, there's a sickness here. There's a mental illness here. But anyway, that clip went nuclear. Way to mine gold there. Okay, so they're losing it. And they lose it just one more time. Just one more time. And then we have the great Wesley Hunt, congressman from the great state of Texas, that we're gonna tear it up with in just a moment. Donald Trump, oh man, dropped a banger this morning. The official Trump account dropped the official Lib meltdown compilation. So as though they're not already living in a torture chamber of emotion, Trump drops this on them this morning of the greatest Lib meltdowns and response in the aftermath of his election. It doesn't even include the Elon Musk buying the MSNBC stuff, which would be the greatest thing of all time. Replace Morning Joe with Tucker and Megyn Kelly. Ratings gold. It's gold, Jerry. Anyway, here's Donald Trump's newest ad. Libs down bad.
NBC News can now project that Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president.
Former President Donald Trump will be our next president.
Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any in modern American politics.
Overnight, CBS projected Donald Trump the winner in Arizona, giving him a complete electoral vote sweep of the 7 battleground states.
I have no interest in listening to a single Democratic politician ever again.
In just 71 days, Donald Trump will be sworn in again as president of the United States. His comeback victory unlike anything we have ever seen in American history.
The bottom line is, no matter where you looked on the map, Kate Baldwin, no matter where you look, Donald Trump was improving on where he did 4 years ago.
Just take a look at the final results. With Arizona now projected for Trump, he locks in a sweeping victory in every single battleground state.
He looks like he's going to be the first Republican to win the popular vote since George W. Bush. He literally goes all the way back through history and breaks history.
I think the more relevant question actually is, what is wrong with America?
You okay? I think I'm okay. Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, I'm so proud.
We were prepared for all scenarios, and each one of those scenarios, it was, how is Donald Trump going to finagle his way back into the Oval Office? And it turned out he used our electoral system as it is designed. And in that moment, I thought, I was wrong. We'll continue to be wrong.
Somebody who was right and will continue to be right is the great congressman from Texas, Wesley Hunt, joining the show live now. Rock and roll, Congressman. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing awesome, brother. How about you? Happy Thanksgiving to you, man.
Happy Thanksgiving. So much to be thankful for.
Yes, there is. Especially given the last few weeks. I'm still doing my victory laps, brother. I love every second of what I've been seeing. Thank you for showing all the libs have a huge meltdown. President Trump won fair and square. It was a sweep. It was a mandate that's been given to him by the American public, and this is a year to be thankful for because we got our country back.
That's right. So something that we're kicking off with every single interview with any member of Congress is priorities. Now, Byron Donalds, your colleague who I know you've worked very, very closely with, made some news last week by saying national voter ID is on the menu. This is going to be one of the major priorities for Congress to secure our elections. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, actually, this is something that we've been working on for a while here, and I am going to support this 100%, as you could probably imagine. Look, we need to know every single person that votes for our elections, that votes for our leadership. We need to at least have a minimum showing ID. This is not a serious conversation. Regardless of what side of the aisle that you're on, you should want this. You should need this. You have to have an ID to go buy groceries. You have to have an ID to go board a plane. And if you could do these mundane things that require an ID, then voting should be our top priority. And President Trump did an excellent job on making sure we had early voter turnout. That was really great, especially 2 weeks leading up to the election. We were crushing them in that regard, but we shouldn't have to front load our votes to ensure that we have a free and fair election. And then lastly, I'll tell you this too, Benny, I've listened to the left talk over and over again ad infinitum about how these laws are going to be racist. Requiring an ID is somehow racist. And as I have said many a day, brother, I've been black for my entire life. I am here to tell you that requiring an ID to vote is not racist. In fact, the racists are the left that want to tell us that black people like me and brown people like me cannot have the ability to acquire a government-issued ID to vote. That is racist, and I call that the soft bigotry of low expectations. So Byron's working on it, obviously. I'm working on it. It's something that we've been looking at, and having an ID to vote is something that should be a requirement. This shouldn't be a serious conversation, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing if you overlay the map of states that don't have voter ID.
Yeah, they're still counting votes.
That Kamala won. It's a 1-to-1. It's a 1-to-1 map.
Well,
Here it is. We have it on the screen right now.
Yes.
It's a little strange, that, isn't it? You know, it seems very odd, especially in regions like Minnesota, that the entire region swings wildly for Trump. Minnesota, the one state that doesn't require ID, sits there still blue.
Yeah, this
by
is
a thin margin, but still blue. Like it really does.
Yeah.
Really does make you wonder. And I think that there's no way that anybody will ever trust our systems again, Congressman, unless we know that it's only Americans voting in our elections that have a legal right to do so.
Correct. And you know, we have Elon Musk, you know, putting people in space for sport and relanding rockets like toothpicks. Like if we have the ability to do that, then we as a country have the ability to count votes on time. And you're looking at some of these states, there's some of my colleagues that haven't even declared victory yet because they're still counting votes 3-4 weeks later. This is utterly ridiculous. Okay, so I think that over the course of the next year, the next few years, especially before the midterms, we're going to get something done to ensure that we have free and fair elections and we require an ID to vote. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it's something that all of America supports. It's a 90-10 issue. We have the polling in on it. You can't do anything more. You can't do anything more popular than this in Congress. And there's no way that it's indefensible, actually. You're exactly right. It is utterly indefensible. Now, if you did this, you might persuade Kamala Harris to never run again. Yet here's news from this morning. Kamala Harris, 2028. Kamala Harris telling her team to prepare as she sets her sights on the White House again.
Please, God, this is true. Please, God, let this happen.
Okay. Yeah, your reactions, Congressman.
I pray to God this happens. They're going to have a mess. If you look at our bench is very deep. I think President Trump is going to do very well for the next 4 years. He's going to hand this off to leaders of the future. We have a very, very deep bench, and they have absolutely nobody. And the fact that they are talking about Kamala Harris running again in 2028 after she got shellacked a few weeks ago just goes to show you that they are in huge trouble. And if you look at what they even did by replacing Joe Biden with her, which is one of the most undemocratic things I've ever seen in my entire life. This woman did not get a single electoral college vote, and yet she was their nominee. Look, bring it on. Please let her run again. I want her to run every 4 years, and I pray that she is their nominee because we're going to have a bonanza on our side if she keeps running.
I got to tell you, man. Donald Trump's spokesperson, Stephen Chung, he said Kamala just ain't built for this life, and we have our first photo of Kamala Harris.
She ain't about that life, man.
She ain't about that life. We have our first photo of Kamala Harris. I'm not sure this was a vacation in Hawaii or something. Her and Doug. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're looking rough. I think this took it out of them, and only a 100-day campaign. Okay,
I know.
But she ain't about that life. Clearly,
she's not. And again, we're going to see what happens over the course of the next 4 years. But you know, look, the American public gave President Trump a mandate, and he is going to behave accordingly on day one. I cannot wait to see what happens with Doge. I cannot wait to see what happens with voter ID. I can't wait to see what happens with our border and inflation and the economy and unleashing American energy. We are going to have a hell of a next 4 years under President Trump. And then as long as we have people like her continuing to run on the Democrat side, we're looking to 4, 8, 12, 16 years. We're going to have a very good run for the Republican Party, a Reagan Bush-like run that you haven't seen in a very long time if they have to turn to Kamala Harris to run again.
In the words of Kamala's mother, she looks like she fell out of a coconut tree. I'm just quoting.
Her words, not mine. Her words, not mine, brother.
Trump looked better after working the fries, which she never did. Than here, whatever this is. Yeah, he went on a big vacation. Yeah. All right, so this also, I think a major existential threat is you're talking about the country being like a 60-40 like majority. We are certainly in control right now, but if Elon Musk bought MSNBC, dude, I don't know if you saw, I've been catching up on any of this news, but when Elon Musk says how expensive is something, that man means it.
We've heard this before.
What's your take? He said that on MSNBC. They are melting down over this. I think they are very, very scared that this being a possibility. We know MSNBC is for sale. That's confirmed. And Elon Musk has been posting memes and asking the price all weekend. Joe Rogan saying he'd come on the network. I don't know, man. It's looking spicy.
I have a few ideas. I think Joe Rogan, I think Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson, I think y'all should look. We have our hosts already. Let's just red pill this thing. Let's get it over with. Let's get that toxic masculinity going, and let's take over the country. Like this is exactly what we need to see. I have my host already in my head, Benny. You're just get ready, buckle up, because you're gone. You're going to MSNBC, bro.
Pause right here, dude. Okay, I know you do plenty of cable TV. Yeah. Could you imagine the ratings if this was Tucker and Megyn Kelly?
Oh, my God.
It would be this would be the top rated show in the world, actually, if you just swapped out Morning Joe.
You know, what's really fascinating about this, though, is you would see the ratings skyrocket if he actually bought this platform. I think you would see honest reporting. I think you would see people that were talking about the truth and honest journalism finally. And this is something that's been lost for the past probably 15, 20 years. And so I pray to God that he is serious. And like I said, we've seen this before with X. He posed that question before. How much does it cost? This guy is a patriot. Elon Musk is a patriot. He doesn't care about money. He cares about his time and how he can influence and impact and change the world. And I saw him speak a few years ago in Jackson Hole. And I was fascinated by him because the first thing I did when I met him was I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, by the way, we're the only two African Americans here." That was very funny. I mean, there are 0 black people in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, brother. But we're African Americans. You know what I mean?
Fact check, true. Yes,
it's true. We are both African Americans.
He's born in Africa.
Born in Africa. I mean, yeah. So what I love about him is that he wasn't talking about money and he wasn't talking about return on investments. He was talking about his time and how many ideas that he has and what he wants to do to change and impact the world. And after all the rockets and Tesla and the tunneling company and all this kind of stuff that he does, what he cares the most about is this country and preserving it for his future and for his children. And this is the most important thing he has done in the last few years is insert himself in the election process. And one thing I always tell people is that, look, you may not want to do politics, but politics does you. And if you don't pay attention to it, then we will lose this country. And what he has done this past year in helping to save our country is quite remarkable.
It's amazing you talking about masculinity, because I believe one of the major when the history books are written about this moment, it will be written about the individuals who re-engaged men, especially young men, who have been a bit lost, I think, in this country, who have been beat down and who have been told their opinions don't matter and to shut up and to stand aside and to let Marxists take over this land and to let really sick and disturbing ideologies that are not based in reality assert themselves.
Yes.
And to be ashamed of your masculinity and to be ashamed of who we are. And this was the great awakening of young men, especially young men, but men in general in this country, to say, actually, no, you can't actually, this is my country. You can't actually take it over like this. And we are going to re-engage. And I think that is probably the greatest threat to the machine that we know currently existing right now, is the re-engagement of young men in society.
Benny, you are absolutely correct. And when I think about masculinity and toxic masculinity, I think about these brave men that ran into a barrage of machine gun fire on the beaches of Normandy during World War II to rid the world of fascism and to ensure that the international language is not German, but is in fact English, because of these brave men that chose to do this. And so I'm seeing that kind of attitude being re-engaged again whenever, at the time when the country needs it the most. And this is what makes America so special. The day is always darkest before the dawn. You'd be surprised at how we get to these points in history, these pivotal moments in history where we men engage and we say enough is enough. We've got to protect our country, protect our heritage, and protect our future. And let me tell you something, for the past 8 years, the last 4 years in particular, I was really concerned. I was really concerned with our military in the direction of that's going to get changed very, very rapidly. I was very concerned with the demonization of masculinity and being a man and being a strong man. I was very concerned about that for the past 4 years. It has returned back tenfold. In the next 4 years, you are going to see men, brave men, that God has called upon to ensure that we have a future for this country. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. He's a wealthy guy. He's done very well. He's all in on President Trump. And the one thing that he said is, I could now sleep at night not because of me, but I know that my grandchildren are going to be okay. And when I hear stuff like that, Benny, that makes me very, very proud for the stance that I made on day one. And I want to tell you something, brother. I was the first person in the country to endorse President Trump this last cycle. I am very, very proud of that. And it's by the heat that I took for that, I am looking like Nostradamus right now. I am living on cloud nine, because what I saw in President Trump was the strong man that we need to secure our borders, to make sure we didn't go into World War III, a man that Xi Jinping would respect and Vladimir Putin would respect. And now we are negotiating on our terms. And that's exactly what this country voted for a few weeks ago.
You served your country. You know of what you speak, Congressman. You served your country in wartime. Yeah. You flew Apache helicopters in combat zones. You enlisted, and I believe your entire family. You come from a military family. Is that correct?
Yes, my dad's retired lieutenant colonel. My sister's retired lieutenant colonel, West Point grad, class of 93. I'm a West Point grad 04. My brother's West Point grad 05. There's 60 years of military service just in my immediate family. And so this is something that I hold near and dear to my heart. And at one point in 2006, my brother, sister, and I were all deployed in Iraq at the same time. And so we have skin in the game as a family. I have skin in the game as a man with a family. And I want to ensure that my sacrifice wasn't in vain. And I also want to make sure that those brave men and women that perished in combat, for whatever reason, God spared my life, I want to make sure that their sacrifice is not in vain. That's what the future of this country is all about. Those that serve this country and those that want a better future. And less than 1% of this country chooses to do that. We raise our hand and we say we're going to defend this country against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And we do it for everyone else, and we do it willingly. The Army-Navy game is coming up here in the next few weeks. And my favorite quote about that game is this: it's the only game that gets played where everyone on the field is willing to die for everyone watching. That kind of warrior ethos is what this country is all about.
And it must make you sing. It must make you your heart sing to have someone who served this country in combat being appointed to run the Department of Defense, Pentagon.
Yes.
And Pete Hegseth. I know you know Pete Hegseth. I know you've been an ally of his. Can you talk me through that nomination? What did you think when you heard the news? Is Pete the right man for this job?
President Trump was given a mandate by the American people, and I trust President Trump's judgment for every cabinet pick that he is choosing. We have got to get these people through. End of discussion. This is why we put him in charge. We don't want status quo. We don't want business as usual. We don't want 3- and 4-star generals that have become politicians in their own right. We want people that are going to walk in and shake up the system. Pete is one of those guys. Pam Bondi is one of those gals. Elise Stefanik, Tulsi Gabbard. He has done one heck of a job in these picks. We have to trust his judgment and trust that he is picking the right people and putting the right team together to get this country back on track.
Yeah, Pam Bondi is she's such a friend of the show, and
she's amazing.
She's our neighbor down here in Florida, and she's just so awesome. She's just such an incredible person. We're so happy about that. Yeah. One of the first problems that she'll run into, I believe, would be these mayors who are saying that they're going to insurrect against the federal government and federal authority. They're going to use force. They're going to use violent force. The mayor of Denver and the governor of Illinois are saying that they will use their own armed law enforcement to fight feds in removing criminal, dangerous murderers, rapists, and gang members from their states. What's gonna happen here exactly? What should happen to mayors and governors that insurrect?
Well, they should be in jail for that. I mean, that's called treason, Benny. And at the end of the day, President Trump got elected because of what's happening at our southern border, because of the animals that we have allowed in our country that are murdering our young children and murdering our fellow Americans. End of discussion. If you are against that, then you are against the mandate that was placed and given to President Trump to actually clean up this mess, get these animals out of our country, and secure our border. Dude, I am somebody that's deployed to Iraq and deployed to Saudi Arabia. And I was a diplomatic liaison officer for 2 years in Saudi Arabia. Do you know to enter Saudi Arabian airspace at that time, you had to have a diplomatic passport just to enter the airspace? And so if other countries behave that way, I don't understand why we don't behave that way and we don't protect our sovereign borders. The number one role of the federal government is to do what? protect the people of this country. Number one role. It's not taxes. It's not killing people with inflation. It's not this woke agenda. It's not DEI. It is keeping our citizens safe. For the past 4 years, we have failed. And if you are a mayor that stands against keeping our citizens safe, then that means you are against the mandate that's been given to President Trump by the people, and you should be removed.
And the laws of the country.
And the laws of the country, yes.
The 1964 Immigration Act states that every person who enters the country illegally is a felon. Remaining in the country is a felony.
Not different.
Crossing illegally is a felony. Those laws are still on the books and are renewed every 10 years. It's a blatant felony. So you're committing a crime.
Yes.
So sanctuary cities are truly evil. I'm so glad that Texas. We've shown that image of your state, but like Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, like everything's red. The entire Red Kingdom, man. Yeah. Like, look at what's happened once you cleaned up your voter rolls and said only citizens will vote.
Miraculous, isn't it? Isn't it miraculous? President Trump won by 15, 16 points. And you hear all this stuff about Texas trending blue and this and that. That's just flat out not true. In fact, the legal Hispanics that are in this country voted for Trump overwhelmingly because even they understand that there's a process, there's a way to do things, and just allowing people to the tune of 20 million people entering this country illegally is utterly absurd, Benny. This is not a serious conversation. People are fearful of their safety. You have a beautiful family, brother. You go to bed at night, and the last thing you think about is is my family safe? Is my wife safe? Are my children safe? We don't feel safe anymore, and especially at the southern border where all of this madness is happening. And so they could talk about race and this and that all day, but at the end of the day, people want to feel safe, and they don't care about what you look like. They don't care about your race, religion, color, or creed. Are you going to get the job done? And that's why President Trump was given a mandate, especially in the great state of Texas, to do just that.
Final closing comments here, Congressman. Any word of advice to the Hollywood celebrities? Some of them we're pretty close friends of Diddy, who seemingly are fleeing the nation, never to return. Ellen DeGeneres is one who called P. Diddy Cuddle McSnuggle. We actually have the tweet. I think with Killer Klein, we have the tweet. Yeah, we have the tweet. She's gone. According to her publicist, she's never returning. There seems to be a pretty amazing overlay of people who are associates with Jeffrey Epstein or Diddy who happen to have now fled the country, never to return.
Well, the way I tell them, bye. We don't want you here. We don't want that filth in our country. Goodbye. And by the way, dude, I got to tell you, that's a lot of baby oil. City, that's a lot of baby oil. And I think I said this on your show before. The reason why gas prices are going down is because we now realize that we stopped Diddy from buying up all the baby oil. He was controlling all the supply. So literally, we could refill our reserves now because Diddy's gone. But these people are not serious people. It's a cabal. And now they are running scared because the day of reckoning is coming in this country. And let me tell you something. When you behave this way, when you abuse people in this country, you have to pay the price. That's just what's happening right now. So when I see all these Hollywood liberal elites that now want to flee the country, I say goodbye, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, brother.
Congressman, you're welcome back on our show. Anytime. Everybody go follow the congressman. He's on his way up to 1 million, past the 250,000 mark, 275,000 followers. Can't be wrong. Give power and energy to the people who are fighting for you. Go follow the great congressman, and Godspeed. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Thank you very much. God bless your beautiful family.
Just an exciting time. Just an exciting time to be alive. Man, that clip's gonna fly. God. Wesley Hunt's message to Ellen DeGeneres. Woo, doggy. Okay, baby, rock and roll. Somebody who's obviously willing and ready to take up arms to defend this country. Something that you should certainly be willing to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday. You know that means Monday Gun Day. Brought to you by Spikes Tactical. Let's go. Monday Gun Day. Gun ownership higher among Republican women than Democrat men. Such a great article headline. This is great. Okay, the number of Republican women who own guns has jumped from 1 in 5 to more than 3 out of 10. Okay, so we'll work on our fractions and our statistics here, but it's good. Okay, that means it's rising. All right, good. Gallup divided decades of survey results into 6-year groups and found whereas 19% of Republican women own guns from 2017 to 2012, now 33% of Republican women do. Okay, those statistics make even more sense. It means more Republican women own guns than Democrat men. Only 29% own a weapon. Only 29% of Democrat dudes own a firearm in this, the greatest, one of the single greatest firearm sanctuary nations in the world. Oh, that's so embarrassing. What happens if the country is invaded? Like these people, I'm not saying it will be, but I'm saying like the only reason the country will never be invaded is because there are so many privately owned firearms. And then the military wouldn't even get there in time. Like if a foreign nation landed in Florida, nothing but like rednecks, pickup trucks, guns. Like I've been waiting for these days. You know, got python hunters down here. People that python hunt for a living, that gator hunt for a living. They've been waiting for this. This is like this has been the single day of reckoning. All you'd hear is the gun blast of like the exhaust blast of an F-150 with a giant Trump flag, an army of them flooded down to the coast. Military wouldn't get there in time. Yes, that's exactly right. People shoot at hurricanes around here. We view that as an evil invader from the Gulf of Mexico. Nah, dude. Democrat men, where? Oh man, that's so sad. So embarrassing. You know, it says so much about testosterone, your buy-in to this culture. I mean, the reason you own a firearm is to protect yourself, to protect those whom you love. Like, because you care about them, you care about the world around you. You don't want to be a victim of it. You want to be the master of your environment, not have your environment be the master of you. It's like, it's innate in your core. It's so sad, Democrat men. So now Republican women, way to go, ladies. Way to go. On the other hand, 6 out of 10 Republican men own guns. Oh, I thought it'd be higher than that. Making them the dominant political demographic owning guns. So the majority of Republican men own guns. 6 out of 10. You just say 60%. Okay. When viewed outside of the political identification, 43% of all men and 20% of all women are likely to own guns. Okay. Well, good. The trends, ladies and gentlemen, are all on the upswing. That's something certainly to be thankful for. Don't worry, libs, as ever. You don't have to thank us. We'll make this country safe. You don't have to thank us for your cheap gas, cheap groceries, affordable homes, and your safe and clean streets. We know you won't. We know you can't even protect yourselves. How many libs can I claim as dependents on my taxes this year? Can I claim like Kamala's 70 million voters as dependents? That literally is what every Trump voter should be allowed to do. Anyway, okay. Monday, Gun Day, Spike's Tactical, the AR-15 of the Johnson household. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, get your official... Whoa, there it goes. Whoops. Ladies, I apologize for that. This is what happens when I play with the ornament. The entire show. This is what happens when I play with the ornament the entire show. I took the tassel off. Yeah, that's right. Sitting here watching the clips and just like playing around with it. This is also what happens when I let my kids play with the ornaments at our house. They tear the ornaments off the tree. The tree that was in Trump Tower, man, they you to tear that thing up. We had to put it all back together again. They're little kids, you know. This is what happens. You should. And also proving the durability of the Benny Red Christmas show ornament, a perfect gift for your loved ones, a perfect gift for your loved one, no matter who they voted for. If they voted for Kamala Harris, well, this is a hilarious troll present. Could you imagine your liberal aunt opening up her stocking and getting one of these? Ooh, just film the meltdown and send them to us. The first orders go out today. 10,000 in our first round of shipments go out today. We've had tens of thousands of orders for these. We want one of these on every single one of the 77 million Christmas trees that voted for Donald Trump, meaning the 77 million Trump voters. Presumably, you have a Christmas tree, right? Because you love Christmas, because we love Christmas in this country. You want to put one of these on your tree. We make them for zero profit. It's $5. We made them as cheap. I called the guy the veteran that makes these. We have a veteran who's from Florida. Every piece of material comes from Florida. There's not a single, this has a made in America stamp on it. There's not a single piece from China in this. They said you can't manufacture stuff in America anymore. Well, we figured out how to do it. Anyway, order them today. I said let's get as many let's get as many of them as we possibly can on Christmas trees. So we've increased our capacity. We cannot believe the number of people, the success of this, and we're doing them at cost. This is cost. This is at cost. So we're making nothing on them. We just want every Christmas tree in America to have one of these sweet suckers sitting on it. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. We are in good spirits today. Join our Benny Brigade, ladies and gentlemen. Join the fight. Become a member on our channels. There's so many ways that you can assist us or bless us if you care about the work that we're doing here. Subscribe on X if that's your main platform. There's amazing opportunities to connect and into 2025. It's going to be so important more than ever. These first 2 years, you've got to lock in. We've got to lock in and save this country in the first 2 years. The chances of Congress flipping, there's just historic trends that happen in these moments. So you want to make sure that you fight. So we're getting ready. Okay, we're getting ready for the brawl. We'll be ready to go. Okay, when the bell dings. Ladies and gentlemen, our verse of the day from the cornerstone of our life, which is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Christ is King. Matthew 5:10. Blessed are those who are persecuted out of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, God saves. I'm reading through 2 Peter right now, and it goes through the nation, like how God listens to righteous men, and how there are these sunken places like at the time of Noah, Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot, where God stood up and protected righteous men. And it's felt like persecution, quite frankly. It definitely feels like persecution when the FBI raids your church, which they did. Okay, that feels like persecution when you're protesting against the wholesale slaughter of innocent and unborn, and the FBI arrests you and puts you in prison for it. That feels like persecution. It is persecution by definition. But God listens to righteous men and protects them. And so that's really, quite frankly, all we have to do to save this place is to stand up and to say, we're not done yet as a country. We haven't fallen completely into demonic hedonism. Like, stay the course, straight and narrow. And ladies and gentlemen, God's got us. Yeah? That's something to be thankful about. March into Thanksgiving with us this week. Very, very appreciative for you. We're very thankful for you. And ooh, baby, we're going to win. We're going to get so tired of winning. You're going to say, please, I can't take it anymore. And we're going to say, no, we must keep winning. It's your boy, Benny. See ya.
All right, first you flick this switch, then this switch. That activates it. Then you push this button. Now, whatever you do, don't push this button. Now, no! How's that even possible? Which button is the button you're supposed to push? Point to it. No! Hey, you're making
this turkey tastes half as good as it looks. I think we're all in for a very big treat.
I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. truth gon' be? Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.